And then just like Christmas, it was all over. Australia got pretty much everything they asked for, whereas England are firmly on the naughty list. We'll review the fifth day from Sydney, where the curator will be breathing a huge sigh of relief. We'll play true or false. I'm losing 10-9, but I can feel a win today. We'll create our combined Ashes 11. Cop that, I say, McCullum out. What do you guys think, Jonesy? I'm sure is going to defend him. Welcome to Close of Play with me, Sanjay Murthy, and Ashes winner, Geraint Jones. Jonesy, how are you, mate? All good?
I'm much better after that intro you gave me. Yesterday I was just him. So at least I've got a bit of credibility today. I'm good, thanks.
Yeah, I did have a long, hard look at myself in the mirror when I realised that I'd understated your efforts in the past. I was going to put the MBE thing after your name today as well, but I just stuck with Ashes winners. So there you go. Ashes winners.
Fair enough.
Is something England on. Crowbarring beautifully. I'm good at crowbarring. I like it. England today. Let's just review the match quickly, and then we'll get into the sort of the aftermath and everything in a sec. But England started the day 302 for 8, closed on 384. Jacob Bethell got to 150 before he was out. Australia needed 160, which they did with a loss of 5 wickets. I'm sure that was too many wickets. But anyway, they won, so they probably don't really care. Australia don't lose at home very often. I think I heard somewhere that they've got the best winning record at home across all of the test playing nations, but England got annihilated.
Yes, mate, absolutely. And it was like you say, the 5 wickets that England managed to get were complete. They're all token wickets because we all knew it was coming. We had the glimpse of sort of a little bit of hope that Jacob Bethell would sort of put on a bit of a magic show, and the chat of 200 was put out there, but the new ball did for him. But so he can walk off that proud. But yeah, ultimately it's a deflating day, and it's one of those ones where to see the celebrations that the Aussies were doing at the end, and Usman Khawaja getting his sort of time at the end of that test match. It's not what we wanted to see a few weeks in November when the excitement was there. And so, there'll be a stern conversation as has happened a lot over the last 6 weeks, really knuckling down and happening now with the post-mortem about to occur.
Did you see Stokes when he was doing his chat with Isha? It panned very, very quickly to the England players. 2 or 3 of them were watching Stokes. The rest were having a chat amongst themselves. Is that an indication of kind of the mentality within the group that when their leader's speaking, they can't even bother to listen?
What do you mean at the presentation at the end of the test match?
Yeah, the end with Isha. Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, mate, that was the middle of the night, so no, I didn't. But that's sort of the last place you want to be out there is watching the opposition and their glory. So, I don't read too much into that. There'll always be people chatting away and having that conversation when it goes on.
But when your own captain is talking and you've been spanked and he's up there taking the flack for a combined set of mis-efforts, if you like, surely the thing you should do is actually watch the guy talking and accept the fact that he's speaking on behalf of all of you.
Well, I think there's also probably a few there that were wanting to sort of crawl under a rock and not hear, because knowing what Stokes is like, they thought, hang on a minute, we might have a few. He'll back us a bit, but also there could be some truths told here, and so there's that element of everyone that you don't want to hear what potentially some truths could be told about you.
You said about a review. There's always a review at the end of an Ashes cycle. This one is going to be particularly interesting. Richard Gould, who is the CEO at the ECB, has put out a statement and says, we will take many lessons from this tour and are determined to improve quickly. Our focus is on regaining the Ashes in 2027. A thorough review of the campaign is already underway. This will cover tour planning and preparation, individual performance and behaviours, and our ability to adapt and respond effectively as circumstances require. Is that just sticking out a statement for the sake of it, or can we read into that that they're going to take this seriously and conduct a proper review of what's gone on, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch whilst in Australia, and everything that happened as part of the planning process that ended up with them playing one warm-up match at Lilac Hill and going on the lash in Noosa?
Yeah, I know that we are, our terminology and our language on this pod is usually of the highest caliber. But when you're reading that out to me there, what screamed to me is me just in my head going, no shit, Sherlock. You know, that, that's what needs to, we all know that needs to happen. And then you've also got the revelation of Harry Brook, getting punched by a bouncer and that coming out and then brushing that under the carpet.
Yeah.
So yeah, Richard Gould has got, he's in charge. He's the man that that Keezy answers to, and so he's been out there for this Test match, and so the boys' club needs to be looked at, and so he's going to be one that is looking at that, has to look at it closely. So everything he said there for me there's no revelations there. It was like, yeah, we know that this is, it's been pretty clear that what's gone wrong, and how the heck have you let it get to this point is more the question. More for me, the question is with the preparation and everything like that, and how did you even let it get to that point? There's no point now when we're 4-1 loss and you're saying, well, we're looking into it. Comes back to what I've been saying is, where's been the accountability before they even got to Australia? Because they must have had conversations, and they would have put it out on paper. They would have had discussions, and they would have been saying, well, this is what we're going to New Zealand. We're going to take we're going to take our bowlers. They're going to get tired. Then we're going to go pretty much to Australia. We're going to play a few Test matches. And Noosa, I didn't mind, because if it had all gone to plan, Noosa actually made sense. The fact that I read that some of them drunk for six days straight, and that I get it. It's also press stuff, So they need to look. The other thing they need to look into is how much truth is out there. But press guys are good at finding out about truth. So quite often, what you hear is they brand up as rumours are absolutely correct. And so so Richard Gould is. There was no revelations. It was just like, clearly, we know this generally happens after an Ashes. Get on with it. We want to move forward, because it won't be long before they're all walking out at Lord's for the first Test.
We should, going forward, we should have a name your 11 feature in all of our pods, and we can do the Naughty Boys 11. I think in one of them we can get Brook in there now, along with Duckett, and if you go back to David Boone back in the day, and there'll be some larrikins, as the Australians would say, that will make that 11 up. Talking of Harry Brook, he is the most regular feature on this podcast with good reason, I think, because he's a mercurial talent. But at the moment, his technique is making him more going down the road of being Vinod Kambli than Virat Kohli. He for one needs to take a good look at himself, I think, and say, listen, I'm a great player potentially, but I'm in danger of wasting that talent.
Yeah, when I think technique, I think more the intricacies of what positions you get into. I think for me, what is not what Harry Brook isn't doing well is the mental side of it, the application of his technique, and so I suppose the choice making. I did something in I was with the Kent girls, the EPP, so the sort of the elite players program last night, and it was very simply on decision making. Are you coming forward? Are you coming back? And learning, and that judgment of line length, and trying to get them to, at a young age, make good decisions regularly and consistently. Jacob Bethel made fantastic decisions. He showed how it could do it, and that's what. So I don't think Harry Brook has got technique thing, I think what he's got is his decision-making process, and his thinking is what needs to be looked at by himself personally. Because when the old chimp on the shoulder is saying, "Hit it for six, Harry, hit it for six," he needs to knock it off and go, "Have it right. Hang on, let's have a look around." And that for me is more what Harry Brook can do in Test match cricket. One day cricket, T20 is a slight different story, but success in Test match cricket is good thinking for long periods of time, which that good thinking comes into: what does my team need? What does the situation need?
And that's where the Australians have been excellent, haven't they? Steve Smith, Travis Head, and Mitchell Starc, who won the Player of the Series award. I think there was a case actually for Head and Starc to share it, because at different times across that series, both Travis Head and Mitchell Starc have won sessions and then eventually tests for Australia.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that. You think back to that first Test match at Perth. Head went out and chased that score down on his own on a wicket that people were saying was going to be hugely difficult to bat, and he just took it upon himself. And Starc for me Starc has been incredibly consistent. The wickets in the first over, what he's created every time he's had the ball in hand has been across, and he's lasted all 5 Test matches, hasn't he? So yes, there was that thing. Highly likely, yes, they could have and probably should have shared it.
I think so. Yeah. Some positives for England, we've got to find one or two, is Josh Tongue. I would say that he is the positive that's come out of this. Obviously, Jacob Bethel was played well too early, but Tongue only played one more test, 3. But at a time when England's quicks were falling over quicker than a tree in a storm, Josh Tongue stood up and did what he did. I mean, he should have. He should have opened the bowling fine, whatever, but he bowled very well and should be inked in for that first test against New Zealand in the summer.
Yeah, he's probably the only bowler that can send a message to his boot sponsors to say, "Can I have 3 pairs of size 15s delivered to Lords, please?" He's because he bowled like we want to see a Test bowler bowl. He kept going. He showed consistency, and also the hardest thing is when that ball is angled in and then can nip away, and he showed that ability to do that. So he needs to be rewarded with some rest, and he's going forward for me. He's the one that we have to go with, and it sounds strange, but we're building our attack around Josh Tongue, because Jofra Archer going forward is unknown. He'll probably, whether we dip in and dip out, or Jofra decides that, I'm not going to be fit and strong enough to be there in 27. So I'm going to go. Jofra might go down. Will he go down the franchise only route and make a load of cash and preserve his body? Gus Atkinson's probably the other one, which I like. I like what he does. I like the fact he bats a bit. So that one, but he could potentially also be another one that is guaranteed of Lords. But Josh Tongue could walk away the proudest of our bowlers, 100%.
Tell you what, who can't be proud is whoever came up with Snicko. That's a terrible thing. Do you see the Alex Carey? Well, it wasn't a dismissal, but it was. It caused a bit of a rumpus with Bryden Carson. Stokes had to sort of pull him away from the umpire. But do you remember going back to Jamie Smith? It might have been Perth, where there was a Snicko and the balls. There was the frame afterwards was counted. On this one, the frame afterwards, there was a snick. And yet the third umpire and on-field umpire fine, the third umpire, the TV umpire, gives it not out. I mean, the thing is showing, all right, blame Snicko because it's not very good. But in this case, if you put the same rules into place, the same frame is there. So how does an umpire not see that? I mean, is there a time, I suppose that's a rant, but is there a case now for specific TV umpire or TV umpires that go around the world who understand how the blooming thing works?
Well, they do. They take it. They do take it in turns, don't they? That you have the elite panel of umpires, and that
I realise that. I mean,
on-field.
actually, someone who's specifically a TV umpire that doesn't actually stand on the field. His whole job is to understand the myriad of technologies that the various boards want to use, and to actually to sit with our friend Gavin Sugavell in the TV director's box and understand what the hell they are looking at, to be able to make the decisions that are correct. Because that was ridiculous today, and there have been, there have been decisions in the past that have also been pretty bad.
But you don't even have to know cricket, in my opinion, to do that job, because there's protocols in which you go through. They should have those protocols set out. So when you hear the dialogue that comes from the TV umpire, it's like a monologue they go through, and the decision making process. So you don't even have to have any cricket knowledge. You just need to read it and go, okay, when it's this situation, it's out. When it's this situation, it's not out. But all of a sudden, what you're quite rightly not happy with is the fact that there isn't clarity. It's subjective, and that's not what technology is there for. And when we see
Exactly.
and quite rightly the England team got frustrated with it, because they're losing. They're about to lose a series, but could a dismissal like that have a bigger impact? And when you see one for one for the other at high level sport, there's going to be masses of frustration. So not only is England cricket having a review, I think Australian cricket and their TV channels of what technology they use, that needs as much of a discussion as anything.
Yeah, I think that's right. I think there needs to be consistency from the ICC as far as what technology is used, and use the best one available. And as you say, don't leave it to somebody who knows the game to be able to make that decision, because it's very binary, right? He's nicked it or he hasn't. Now, another thing that's binary that also annoys me whilst we're on this subject is umpire's call. What the hell is that about? If the ball's hitting the stumps, it's hitting the stumps. If it's hitting a quarter of the stumps, all of the stump, or a tenth of the stump, doesn't make any difference. If, for example, someone was bowling and you miss the ball and it hits the stumps, you are bowled. It doesn't go to umpire's call, does it? So why should it matter if it's an LBW decision?
Because again, this is where they say that there's an element of the technology that they have to take into account. And so that's because when there isn't a batter there, when it misses and it has that ability to follow its path, we get a true result. But with the technology, the ball stops a distance away from the stumps. So the reason they have umpire's call is because we're giving the judgment of that to the umpire. And so if it follows on, if our technology follows on and it shows that it's clipping, well, it actually might be hitting more than our technology says. So, but you're right. The issue is that it can be given out for one and not out, depending on if an umpire gives it not out and it clips, we'll stay with that. But if an umpire gives it out and it's clipping even less, that's out. And that's the frustration, is when exactly the same thing can have two. But that comes down to the ball, the fact the ball isn't allowed to continue on its path. You see it with spin. You see the players laughing with some of the projected lines that spin throws up. They just think, how on earth you've got that bouncing over by 3 inches? That's ridiculous. That's the frustration.
I must release the Paul Hawkins episode that I recorded with him when he's the inventor of Hawkeye. I must get that up quite quickly.
Have you seen what they're doing for the World Cup football about to happen?
No.
So when the players go in at the start of the tournament, so the players go in to get their media shots, what they're doing is they're creating an avatar, if that's the right word, of every player. So every player is getting scanned. So for offside, they then are able to introduce this AI version of the player. So to get the exact bodies of them to help try and make the offside decisions quicker.
Isn't that? Don't they do that with
I just laughed because I could imagine. I just laughed because I can imagine players sort of getting themselves into different positions to make. No, my bum's not really that big. All the other way round as a forward going, well, hang on a minute. I need to stick my belly out here because I want to get every advantage I can.
There'll be footballers having nose surgery before the World Cup.
Exactly.
Just going back to the review thing, I forgot to ask you when we were talking about it. What the fans and the media and Aggers and Vornia are always vociferous on this. What the fans and the media want for this from this review is probably different to what the ECB wants from this review. And if we go back to Kamala, our listener from yesterday, who said about boycotting the ECB and don't go and finances and stuff. The ECB will want to protect their revenues first and foremost, whereas the England fans and the media, is that a real fire alarm? We could have it. We could be an incident.
That's the ECB.
Really?
That's this. I could be in ECB headquarters at Lords. This is what's going on at the moment.
Yeah. Shouldn't you leave the building at this particular point?
Yes, mate, I should. I should go and register.
I love your commitment to this podcast. So you put your life in danger.
Right, let's do a walk and talk, shall we?
And at this point, Jonesy left the building. Come and see. Yeah, let's have a tour of the school. This is unscripted. That's it.
Well, hold on a minute. This is where. But I also have to come into this could be safeguarding going out to the world.
Yeah.
Hold on, mate. Lucky this is ridiculous. This is not what the
this is all staying in, don't you? This is broadcasting for you. In the middle of an in-depth discussion on the England ECB's review of the Ashes, and G. Jones has got a fire alarm situation to put up with. Is anybody else leaving?
This is reality. Yeah, the whole school's coming out more.
Excellent.
I mean,
we can.
Well, I'm going to have. Yeah. To be honest with you, I could have stayed in that room and no one would have known. That's the level I have at this school. No one would have been concerned for my welfare. Oh no, it's raining as well. This is just horrendous.
Oh no, disaster. Well, there you go. You see. Well, I think we've got two choices at this point, haven't we? We've got two choices. We can continue, or we can say to our listeners,
"Hold on, mate.
Well, that was a good bit of fun. We'll pick it up again when the Kent Fire Brigade, of which you were a part at one point, have left. It's up to you. I don't mind.
Unbelievable. I've acknowledged you. Yeah, no, I'm outside.
Oh, you're outside now.
I've gone to a place of safety.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, very good. Well, find yourself a comfy seat.
So where were we? Oh, there's two where I'm going to go. I'm going to go under a tree.
Oh, good idea. Yeah, we can get a little view of the Kent countryside. Excellent. The question I asked you was what the fans and the media want from this review are going to be different to what the ECB is going to deliver, because they're going to want to protect their revenues first and foremost. And then how important then is a proper Ashes review in their in the real agenda, not the media agenda.
Well, the ECB, as I think I said it in a previous podcast, it's purely a performance review, isn't it? Which is in a way to keep fans happy, because realistically, England's one of the few countries in the world where you're still going to have packed stadiums. You know, it's not necessarily going to affect people showing up to watch Test cricket in England, is it? But they want to show up and watch victories. But so true fans, the real fans will be pretty annoyed at this point. And probably a lot of the real fans are priced out of going to watch it at Test matches anyway. So I think the revenue side of it and everything like that, the ECB won't particularly be bothered about. What they're worried about is reputation, aren't they? That's the thing. It's more a reputation than a financial issue that this is the reason for they'll be conducting this review.
That'll probably. I suspect the review will come up in our Q&A show that we're recording next week. So if you haven't had a chance to send us any suggestions and comments, please do so. We've had more than every time I promote the Q&A show, we have more and more comments come in. The ones on YouTube are certainly more rational than the ones on Instagram, and blimey, the ones on TikTok, will make me mother blush, and she's brown. An example of some of the questions, and a question, Nick Muldrew. We were talking about Jacob Bethel yesterday. He said the comparisons with Gowan Root et al. Are apt. He seems to have a mature, intelligent way of thinking at 22. Is he a possible captain down the line, captaincy material down the line? You don't need to answer that now. I'll ask you that again to give you a better time to think about it. When we record the show on Monday and release it on Wednesday, if you do subscribe to Close of Play, thank you very much. If you don't, we'd love you to do so at Sanjay Murthy Cricket on YouTube and Close of Play on Spotify and Apple. You know, what I should really do is change Sanjay Murthy Cricket on YouTube to at Close of Play, but I'll do that afterwards. Save me going through this sort of mumbly nonsense every single time. But as you know, for the whatever and final time, fifth of this particular test, it is true or false. Your Dormy 10. We've both driven to about 300 yards on this par 4, 9-9 in. We've both hit it. It's up in the air. Let me ask you a question. Ashes 1987 to 88.
True. It doesn't bother me. True. I've drawn. I'm happy.
I'm going to have to change the question now. We're just a few overs left. We're just a few overs left in the 88 Ashes. England were locked in to win the test. However, they lost a few quick wickets, very un-England-like, including Ian Botham, Lord Botham as he is now. And with 1 over left, Peter Sleep bowled John Embury to complete Australia's first test win in more than a year. Is that statement in its entirety true?
Yes, true. I don't know, mate. It's I've gone through a fire alarm, and I'm at this point, you know my feelings of true or false. I sort of switched off the moment you started speaking.
Yeah, but that was his
Hold
podcast
on.
generally back in November.
Right. Hold on. Okay. Did it happen? So did Embury bowl the last over
No, he was
which
batting.
Australia
Mate.
won?
Shows you don't listen. He was batting. Peter
He was
Sleep
batting.
bowled John Embury to complete Australia's first test win in more than a year. Is that true?
Oh, Peter Sleep, the leg spinner. Sorry, it's Peter Such. I was thinking. That's how much I was listening to you.
Yeah.
Peter Sleep, curly-haired leg spinner for Australia. Have I just changed? No, I reckon you've thrown something in there. False.
You should have stuck with the original answer. It's true. Yes.
I did actually.
10.
No, true. Yeah.
No, it's on. Remember, I do the editing badly, as that bloke pointed out, but I can take your true answer out. False. Yes, I've done it. 10-all. Get in there. Marvellous. We can walk off to the 19th, honours shared, mate, as it should be. I think from where I was, a 6-0 down, it's a tremendous comeback.
I'm happy with that.
Let's do a combined Ashes 11, shall we? There's a shoe-in. There's 2 shoe-ins, right? Travis Head and Mitchell Starc. So Travis Head's going to open the batting in this. Mitchell Starc's going to bat at 8. So, and what I've done is, and you'll like this, while I was watching the football last night, I did go through ESPN Cricket Info and pull out the averages of players and the bowling performances for this series. So the other opener, so this is all going to be, it's a bit of opinion, a bit of fact, right? Jake Weatherall's averaged 20.85, Zach Crawley 27, and Duckett 20.2. So he's been the worst. Who's opening with Travis Head for you?
Well, I know it's not a great selection, is it?
No, it's pretty bad.
I think it's Scotty Boland.
Right, so yeah, okay, fine. So
no.
Head and Boland. Yeah.
No,
should have had him in there as an
it's got a yeah. No, I would say Zach Crawley. Because he has got some scores under his belt more than what the others have. So in terms of Weatherall, he has, and so Duckett's had a poor series, but at least Zach scored a few 50s and has made some more
Yeah.
contributions. So it's got to be Zach.
Yeah, Weatherall, I mean, his place is under question. He's only averaged 20.85. But right, the middle order is interesting. So rather than sort of, you end up with a Smith or Root battle at 4, I'm going to give you 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 middle order batters, and you've got to pick 3 of them. Okay, so this is numbers 3 to 5. Okay, so Labuschagne's averaged nearly 28. Pope's average 20, so we can rule Pope out to make this easy because you're not going to remember all of these. Smith has averaged 68, so he's in, right? So he's in at 3 or 4 or wherever you want to bat him. So Labuschagne 28, Root 44, Khawaja 28, Brook 39.77. I was in that, and Inglis 21. So you've really got a choice out of Labuschagne, Root, Khawaja, and Brook, 2 places from those 4. And if you want it in averages order, Root's at the top, then Brook, then Khawaja, then Labuschagne.
So 2 out of them, is it? So
Two
yeah.
out
So
of
hang
them
on a
because
minute.
Smith's already in.
Smith's in. Well, it's got to be
Smith's in.
Root and Brook. It's incredible. We're going to end up yeah.
This is
Smith's in, and
Smith's
then
in. He's batting at 3. So you've gone Root and Brook at 4 and 5, who are the
yeah.
2 highest averages out of that middle order. All round is interesting, isn't it? Go on.
Yeah, I was going to say Brook. Brook's shown me more. Marnus has done some bits. But he hasn't, for a number 3, he hasn't set the world on fire. He's been steady, but we want more than steady for this, don't we?
Do you know, actually, he's fielding and he's
Brooks snuck in.
Yeah, Marnus's fielding and then his dodgy bowling and all the controversy around Jamie Smith has probably deflected from the lack of runs that he's got in this series, which is average shows anyway. His average is virtually the same as Zach Crawley's, and look at the grief that Crawley gets. All rounder, then I'm going to give you it's a choice between Cam Green and Ben Stokes. Jax is in there, but he hasn't taken enough. Actually, to be honest with you, he's taken more wickets than Cam Green has. So let's keep him in there because we've got a lack of spinner anyway. Because Nathan Lyon's only played a couple of tests. So Cam Green's batting average is 21, and he's taken 4 wickets at 70. Ben Stokes' batting average is 18.4, so less, but he's taken 15 wickets at 25. And Will Jacks has got the best batting average of 23, but he's got his bowling is 5 for 56. So actually, he's better than Cam Green on his batting and his bowling stats.
Yeah, but also, what about I might have got I'm freezing out here. I've got a main. What's the other Aussie all rounder that they brought in?
Well, Inglis played. Nisa bats a bit.
No, he bowled off spin.
Oh, Webster, but he only played. Sorry,
come on, mate.
Bo Webster, but I've taken out all those who only played 1 test. So there's no Bethel, there's no Webster, there's no somebody else, Jai Richardson.
Yeah.
So the all round interesting, isn't it?
Again, not really. The issue is that there's been no spin bowl by majority of it. So that's what's scuppering us because I think we're traditionalists and we'd want some spin.
Yeah.
Because again, for me, Ben Stokes all day over Cam Green because Ben Stokes took a fifer and in a few of the test matches he showed real grit with the bat. He hasn't had the output he wanted with the bat, but it's going to be ridiculous this side because the bowlers are going to be all one way, but it's got to be Stokes again.
Okay, cool. Right, now the quicks. So Nathan Lyon's only played 2 tests. He's taken 5 wickets at 34. So we can talk about him slightly at the end if you want in terms of the balance of the side. But on the quicks, there are 1, 2, 3, 4. I've taken Mark Wood out, 5, 6, 7, 8, and I've taken Jai Richardson out. Right. Atkinson's taken 6 wickets. If I just do wickets to start off with, Atkinson 6, Cast 22, Archer 9, Tongue 15, Stark 29, he's in anyway, Boland 20, Doggett 7, and Michael Nisa 15. So if we just looked at wickets, you've got Cast 22, Tongue 15, Boland 20, and Nisa 15. So should we rule out then Atkinson, Archer, and Doggett for now because they didn't play enough tests and the wickets have taken in single figures? Right, so we'll do that. Now, we know Stark's in. So then you've got Cast 22 at 28, Tongue 15 at 21.33, Boland 20 at 24s, and Nisa 15 at 19s. So who you've got to pick, what is it? Well, to be honest, you can pick all four if you want because you've still, actually, you can only pick three. You've got three spaces left, two if you're picking Nathan Lyon.
Yeah, well, I will pick Nathan Lyon
Okay.
because I'm a traditionalist and I
Right.
want a proper spinner. And so
Fine.
then that leaves me with, I've been
You've got,
hugely impressed with Josh Tongue because
okay.
he's taken wickets and he's offered control compared to Cast has taken 22 wickets, but they've been at a huge expense.
Okay.
You
So
know,
who are you
and
going with?
then for me, Scotty Boland. You know, he is a proper, honest, fast bowler. You get what you want. You throw him the ball, he runs in for you. He hits a sixpence. You know, so that's where I'm leaning towards.
So you're missing one. So you've got Head, Crawley, Smith, Root, Brooks, Stokes, Carey, Stark, Boland, Somebody, and Lyon. You're going with Tongue, are you?
Tongue, yeah.
See, okay, cool. Right, that's your side. So it's not that dissimilar. If you just did it on averages, the side is Head, Crawley, Smith, Root, Brooks, Stokes, Carey, Stark, Cast, Boland, and Nisa. Michael Nisa has taken the same amount of wickets as Josh Tongue, but slightly better average. So what's interesting there, as you were alluding to a couple of times, is that Crawley, Root, Brook, and Stokes, and Tongue in your case, you've got 5 English players in there out of in a side that got beat 4-1, which shows that individual averages don't always tell the whole picture. David is a listener on YouTube. I didn't tell him the rules about single tests, so he's gone for Head, Crawley, Bethel, Root, Smith, Carey, Stokes, Stark, Nisa, Boland, and Tongue. So actually, they're all fairly similar anyway. But it just shows, doesn't it, that actually there have been some individual performances by English players that deserve a place in the combined 11.
Yeah, and that's the thing. As a team, they haven't worked well, but there has been some stuff that individuals can sort of have a level of proudness about. And the reason I get why he's put Nisa in, but for me, if Nisa and Boland are very similar, and when I can add the difference of what Tongue does with his height and the way he delivers it, that's what I like, and that's what I see is how he's going to get wickets along the way. So the Australians have, for the Australian conditions, and if we're doing it on that, Nisa has done a fantastic job. He stepped into a place that he didn't probably ever think he was going to be playing in these Ashes with injuries to the Australian bowlers. So he's got a lot of credit. But if we're picking the best side and what I've seen, that's why I'm going with Tongue ahead. But you know, it is crazy to think how many English guys we've got in that team.
Yeah, exactly. I'm looking forward to seeing Michael Nisa play down at Hampshire this year. Talking of, you said just then, individual performance is great, but as a team, not so great. As you can see by the score, this now leads us to my favourite feature. Cop that. Alison's going to make some sort of little, intro bit to that to stop me just going cop that every single time, which would be nice for me. I'm going to make the case that yesterday I said that Ben Stokes wasn't the right person to lead England going forward. Today I'm going to say to you that McCullum out is going to be my take on this. And here are my reasons for it. Okay, you ready? So first and foremost, he said in the press when he was talking to TMS afterwards, I'm not against assistance, but I have a firm belief in how to get the best out of these players. Mate, we've just lost 4-1. You clearly don't know how to get the best out of these players. And as far as assistance is concerned, he got rid of all the assistant coaches, the specialist coaches, as you said before. So clearly he is against assistance and thinks he can do it all his own way. He had a plan, fine, fantastic, it didn't work. But he won't change. Aga said to him, are you willing to change? And he said, you know the answer to that, which means no, that he needs to go. Ashes review is going to happen. But will it actually change anything? The birds in the background agree with me. They're going to review tour planning and preparation, but not the role that McCullum has played in this disaster that's just happened down in Australia. McCullum's test average, by the way, a few people have said that they built an England side around McCullum and about how the way he played. His test average is 38, strike rate 64. Zach Crawley, his average is 31 and strike rate is 65. Very similar. So maybe he has built a team around the way he plays. But if Crawley's going to get axed, why shouldn't Baz McCullum go in the same way? It's the same thing. England in the World Test Championship are 7th after 10 matches. Only Bangladesh and West Indies are below them. How can that be right for a coach that's paid so much money? He's made England a laughing stock in world cricket. He sits on the balcony chewing gum, doing the crossword, drinking the same latte that you were drinking when you didn't watch Marcus Trescothick get out to Shane Warne for his 600th wicket at Old Trafford in 05. Bring in Alex Stewart, Alistair Cook. He's a knight. He can serve England well. Stuart Broad, Jimmy Anderson, Graham Swan, assuming he's still awake. Bring them in, bring in some of the legends of English cricket to help England move forward. Rob Key, he's the man in charge of all of this. He can stay for a while. We'll pick on him later. If he was a judge on Dragon's Den, there was an episode where Barry, the water salesman, came in and started flogging dirty water to people. Rob Key will probably fall for that and buy it. He can stay for now. But Rob, don't fall under anyone's spell again. Sack Baz. There you go, mate. What do you think?
Flipping heck. Yeah, I was looking at the clock thinking, is he going to finish? Some agreements, but no, I don't want Baz McCullum out yet because I do feel what he's brought to the side. He's brought belief into the players. I mean, there's been some misguided belief, which is what we've seen evidenced in some of the shots they've said. But for me, as a player, you want someone who believes in you, who boosts you up and make you feel like you can, you run through brick walls. And I think he's done that to a level. It's now what adjustments he makes, and that's the key. Is he willing to make some adjustments and actually say, you know what, probably there's a few points I didn't get right, and I saw that interview with Aggers, and it was a frosty one, and it was very frosty, and he probably knew the question was coming, but you get put in those positions because of the vision you sell. And McCullum has sold this vision of where he's trying to get that side. And I don't mind that vision at all, because I think as a player, it's one that I'd want to go with. What I don't agree with is what I'm reading and hearing is the bits along the lines. Like apparently they don't have fitness testing, so it's your self-responsibility. Well, that's nonsense. You're playing the elite level. You're playing 5 days test cricket. You have to have, and again, this may be not true. It's stuff that, it's these rumours, but it's bits like that where you've got to you could point your finger directly and say, that's not acceptable. That's a change that has to happen. And if McCullum's sensible, he looks at these things and he goes, yeah, you know what? There's sports science guys who know better than I do. Okay. May not necessarily I want them on the whole trip, but for certain parts, they need to come out early on and manage our preparation, getting these guys in the best position. Because once you're into the flow of it, you're not doing a lot of huge physical stuff. You're just maintaining. But so there's bits like that where the specialists need to be given the time to be specialists and improve them that way. And I think he's probably taken on too much responsibility, and that's what's caused the issues. So for me, McCullum needs to stay, but he will only stay if he makes some adaptations. If he's that stubborn that he won't, then I can't see a place for him. But I want him to stay. I want him to continue what he's doing, but with improvements.
When the vision is run towards the danger and the reality is an absolute spanking in Australia and 7th in the World Test Championship, I think, adapt or leave has to be the way forward. And even then, how what adaptations like. So old habits start creeping back in again. The ECB needs to be stronger. Rob Keane needs to be stronger and not fall for the charms of Barry the water salesman anymore. So that's it. That's the Ashes done, mate. It's been good fun. we're going to move on to a weekly show, as I said before, Q&A next week, and then we're going to do a weekly show based on world cricket and what's going on. So we'll move on to other countries, and I can enjoy excellent constructive commentary from on Instagram and TikTok from other parts of the world, which would be nice, something to look forward to. But thank you to everyone who has listened, commented. Do you know, overall, Alison sent me some numbers. We've only been doing this for 6 weeks, and we've had like 350,000 views, I think, of the rubbish we put out. So that's quite good. You better go inside, mate, because your face has changed colour since you've been outside in the fire situation that never developed. And I will speak to you on the Monday.
Yes, mate. My old gnarly wicket keeping fingers are absolutely frozen to bits. I'm sure that and I've got to teach a lesson in 3 minutes. So you know, I better running to the fire, otherwise I'm in danger of losing my job.
Yeah, exactly. Cool. Right. Sprint well. I'll see you soon.
See you, mate.
Thank you for all of your support for the work that we do here at Close of Play. But to help us, if you could subscribe to Close of Play on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and also at Sanjay Murthy Cricket on YouTube, it'll help us. We can get more content out there, get more guests, and keep bringing you our, let's hope, unique views on the game that we all love. Thank you very much.